I don't even know how we got there because I tried to make it clear how many civil rights, it doesn't just boil down to one conversation, but I can see that somebody's campaign coffers really are struggling right now. So she gonna keep saying trans, trans, trans so that people will feel threatened. And child, listen, I want y'all to tell me whether or
Do
not.
not call me a child. I am no child.
I want
Don't
to
even
find
start.
out
I am a grown
which
woman.
of those
I am 47 years
emails
old. I have broken
actually
more
have.
glass ceilings than you
Chairman, I
ever
am
will.
reclaiming my
Let's go.
time.
You will not do that. I
Order.
am not a child.
I am
not a
reclaiming
child.
my time.
If you want to take it outside,
Mr.
we
Chairman,
can.
the committee is
Chairman.
not
Okay.
in order.
Order.
Point of order. Point of order.
Order. Chair recognizes Ms. Crockett.
No, point of order, Mr. Chairman.
State your point.
Is it allowed in the rules for a member to incite violence against another member? I mean, she said she wants to take it outside with.
Hey, I have the
Crockett.
First Amendment right too,
And
young
so
man. I have the
I'd like
First
those
Amendment
words to be
right. I'm not
taken
gonna be a
down.
child.
I am
I'm not gonna
moving
be
to have
called a
those
child
words
by
taken
any of
down.
you.
I believe it's against the rules to
Going
incite
outside doesn't
violence
incite
against
violence.
another
You have a
member of
conversation
Congress.
that isn't.
The committee will
interrupting this
suspend.
committee.
The member will state the words he wishes taken down.
Where she said that we can take it outside, which is direct violation against the rules, inciting violence against another member.
What rule? What rule? Cite the rule.
How does that incite violence?
Mr. Chairman, there are, if I might point out, Mr. Chairman, there are decorum rules in the House of Representatives.
And the two parliamentarians are discussing this right now. We'll suspend for a second. All right. The chair's going to make a rule. What the gentlelady said was, we can take this outside if you want. And
Okay, so-
that could mean you could go outside and have a cup of coffee or perhaps a beer, or, I mean, we have
Seriously,
Mr.
lots of
Chairman?
conversations outside.
Mr.
So I'm going to rule that that it was just
that it's okay.
that it's okay.
All right, and then point of inquiry.
And remember, this is a slippery slope you're going down, because we have.
Oh, you're
disagreements
going
in
down
this
the
committee,
slippery
as you
slope.
know.
So just to be clear, in this committee, we can ask we can threaten violence on someone as long as
no,
at the
that's
end-
not-
excuse me.
I did
long
not
as at
threaten
the end-
violence.
excuse me,
I threatened no
excuse me.
violence.
There was
I
no
threatened no
There
violence.
was no violence.
As long
no
as
violence.
at the
Don't
end-
create a
I
false
threatened
had a
no
question
violence.
that was
None.
over
None.
another
You're
person.
making shit up as
It's
you
good
go
to know.
along. You
Good
might
to
want to
know.
figure this one out.
Order. There was
Mr.
no
I thought you
Chairman.
were cursing today.
No violence.
Mr. Chairman,
No violence.
I'm going to appeal the ruling of the chair.
Mr. Chairman,
I'm gonna
Chairman, I have
approve the ruling
a
of the
point of
chair.
inquiry,
State-
and I apologize because I had a meeting and came right down. Is it true that Ms. Mace was belittled by being called a child? Is that against our rules?
What?
I would have to look up the rules. I don't know that it's
I'd like to
specifically
appeal
in the
the
rules. We
ruling.
asked for proper
Well,
decorum.
can we strike
asked
it then?
everybody
I'd like to have it
get
stricken.
Okay. Now,
I'd
there's
have Ms.
there's
Crockett's word stricken then.
there's a motion. You have a motion, Mr. Frost?
I move to appeal the ruling of the chair.
There's a motion to appeal the ruling of the chair. Chair recognizes Mr.
And then
Gosar.
there's
I
also
move
a
to
motion
table.
to strike words, Mr. Chairman.
I move to table, Mr. Chairman.
There's a motion.
Motion to take down words, sorry.
There's a motion to table. The motion is not debatable okay, the motion is not debatable.
What?
All those in favor of, okay. We're going to vote on the motion to table. By
Come
Mr. Gosar.
on.
To table, Mr. Frost, appeal. So the motion is not debatable. As all in favor of Mr. Gosar's motion to table Mr. Frost's amendment or motion signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
No.
In the opinion of the chair, the
Mr.
ayes
Chair, I
have
ask for a
it.
recorded vote.
The motion is agreed to. A recorded vote is ordered. The clerk will call the roll. We have to do that right now. Clerk will call the roll. Would the clerk report the tally?
Mr. Chairman, on this vote, the ayes are 22, the nays are 17.
The motion to table passes. Now we will go back to debate, and I believe it was Ms. Crockett with 2 minutes and 57 seconds remaining.
Mr. Chairman, I have a
Mr.
motion.
Chair, I actually had more time than that, but
Mr. Chairman, I have
I
a
can
quick
finish
motion.
up in the 2:40.
Chairman, I have a quick. Mr. Chairman, I have a
We'll
quick.
give you 4 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, I have a quick motion.
Oh, wait a minute, Chair recognize Mr. Donalds.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we move to structured debate for 15 minutes on Ms. Crockett's amendment.
Motion and second to structure debate for 15 minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? No.
No.
Motion passes to limit debate to 15 minutes.
Mr. Chair, I'd ask for a recorded vote.
Really?
Come on.
All right, the clerk will the clerk will call the roll on Mr. Donald's motion to limit debate to 15 minutes to each.
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Chairman. Are we in the middle of debating this motion?
The clerk will get her remaining.
It's Democrats that were pushing for the Equal Rights Amendment, and I don't recall any Republicans supporting us having the Equal Rights Amendment. I also want to make it clear that just because someone fantasizes or wants to be dramatic about the idea of someone could be a quote unquote man in a locker room or in a bathroom. I've yet to hear an actual testimony of someone who, for whatever reason, has experienced this in real time. But I can tell you some real numbers and some real facts, because I don't like to live in fantasy when I'm talking about how I'm going to govern for the American people. The facts are, in my state alone, in the state of Texas, once they decided that they were going to overturn the Roe decision, 26,000 women then ended up raped. 26,000 is what we had reported. And that was only within about a year's time span. And when they reported those rapes, none of them seemed to have anything to do with trans folk. And I don't recall any legislation to help out those women in Texas and beyond that are actually dying. We're not projecting may die, but are actually dying or have died in southern states that have decided that they wanted to go after our reproductive freedom. So as a woman in this country, as a Texan, and as a Black woman who, when we look at the numbers, and I believe in data and science, and I know that that escapes a lot of people in this chamber, but the numbers are clear that specifically Black women have always struggled when it came down to the maternal mortality rates in general. The fact that somebody who looks like me, no matter how much money they have, because I can remind you of a very wealthy tennis star that almost lost her life while trying to give birth. Some things I honestly just don't think should be partisan. And frankly, I do believe in privacy, because honestly, I don't want none of y'all making decisions if I ever end up pregnant and have to decide what it takes for me to save my life. And I give the same opportunity for other women in this country to make decisions as they see fit. So while we look at how we protect women completely differently, I can tell you that at least in the 766,000 women or 766,000 constituents that I represent, I have had them come to me concerned about whether or not they could survive childbirth. But I have not had a single person in my district tell me that they were concerned that they may be raped by a trans person. So if there is an issue to solve in this country based on facts, data, and statistics, I think that we need to look at the type of health care that we are going to advance for women in this country. And with that, I will yield.
Gentlelady yields back. We're going to now go into the 15-minute cap.
All right, that's the last part of that video. Go ahead, Marcus M. White. What do you think?
I think that the Democrats have a strategy of not doing anything and finding the most extreme social causes and latching themselves on that to run with the progressive narrative. So the two things that they kind of got pushed in the forefront because they physically really wasn't gonna have to do anything except take a stance on the position was deletion and like the LGBTQIA rights and that type of stuff, right? So those issues are because they don't want to do anything substantial. They don't want to like actually make real change to a policy. So they conflate marginalized groups with people who have a historic history in this country and try and lump us all in together and push for the fight they feel they can win, or that's the most minuscule. Jasmine Crockett, she the mouthpiece for the Democratic Party right now. She won between her, AOC, and maybe one other person. I would maybe Gavin Newsom if they push it for her. But she's just gonna parrot the talking points. I've seen her on countless TV shows doing this, and I'm just not jacking that shit. Like I'm not standing with the stuff that she that she, somebody say what's IA? I think it's intersex and I forget the other one, asexual. When you say what's the last LGBTQI, it's intersex and asexual, yeah. So the other thing I thought was interesting is the freedom of speech argument when they was talking about the use of the word child and the use of we could take this outside. So the American language is really it's very nuanced, it's contextual, it's tonal, and it's a lot of things that go into that. So we all knew when she said we can take this outside that she meant to fight. And we all knew when she said child, she wasn't actually calling that lady a child. She was saying it as like a euphemism of how people speak. But those things can be contorted in the you called me a child and I didn't mean to fight. I just was saying we can go outside and have a Danish. You know what I'm saying? But we all knew exactly what it meant. It's just interesting to me how different ways you can intentionally misunderstand in American language. Like it's real. Like this one of the most nuanced languages that I could ever understand. But yeah, that's my thoughts. But yeah, she wrong. Oh, and it was a trans prisoner that raped like 2 or 3 women and
Got them pregnant and all.
got them pregnant, yeah, and all that stuff. So that's but for them to say that's not a real thing. I've seen countless episodes of like spas where they have women only facilities, and they've had trans people come in there, and it was actually boycott lines and pickets behind this stuff, and the trans people start fighting with them. It's all type of stuff going on with that. Is it a pressing issue where it's on every block? No, but if your child walk into the locker room and a pre-op tranny is sitting there with their dick hanging out, or that shit is sexual harassment, and that shit gonna end violently for a lot of people. Like, don't be playing about their kids. It's simple as that. Just let everybody be free until you start affecting somebody's kids. Then your ass gonna see really how people feel about your issue. Yeah, that's what I got though.
You on mute, JR. My bad. I was asking Kenny. I said he's making some face expressions. What you thinking?
We go back to the root of how this started. Where do they get their talking points from? The provocateurs on a whole that got these people these rights were white Republican women that reached down in the ghettos and other places and said, sisters, let's lock arms and get these people their rights because they're marginalized just like us. So they co-opted women's struggle with homosexual struggles so that they could be fortified and go out in masses. So it started on the red side. And now that we're here, they're babbling in Congress. And, the white girl got spunked. She want to take her outside and shoot the fade. And then we playing the word semantics right there. At first, I do agree. There's biology, man, woman. There's not 72 plus genders. We can get that straight. I'm not against men that believe that they're women with the illusion being in the same bathroom with people with kids. That's unacceptable. But we're not going to stand here and just do the party thing if you know the root cause of where it came from. And Mr. Gaber, Henry Gaber, Chicago, was the forefront of this movement. If you look back, I don't want it to be co-opted as Miss Crockett not doing her job, just like a prosecutor and a defendant, a prosecutor and an attorney working for you. You're going up there to do your job, present your points. You can easily rebut my points, not threaten to beat me up because you don't agree with my points. Now, if that's what we want in public office, people that lack civility, I thought that's where we were going. Nah, I'm not having no bag of that. Mace's points are valid, but when you're challenged, you should be able to live up to the position that you have, not threaten to beat somebody up because they have offended you with mild colloquialisms. I rest there.
Anybody else got anything to add on that?
This is a conspiracy theory, but 26,000 people raped the day after. Was that what she said, or shortly after? I don't know. That shit seemed real fishy.
She said within a year. Within a year.
Okay. Well, I'd love to see the rape statistics. The grape statistics before that, and if that actually had as much to do with it, or I wouldn't even. You know what? I wouldn't even put it past the people who are staunch advocates from filing like false reports. I ain't gonna hold you, just so they can. People really care about this stuff. They really was acting a fool. But yeah.
Well, either of them ladies married, because I saw Miss. I didn't see Mrs.
As a matter of fact, I did research that. So Nancy was married twice and got a divorce, and she has 2 kids. Miss Crockett,
Curtis Jackson.
Huh? Yeah, to 50 Cent. So then,
not 50.
Yeah, but she was married to Curtis Jackson. Crockett, I see nothing about her being married or anything about her having kids.
No, that was my first thought.
To me, that's like that was my first thought too. And then I researched it and I was like, oh, okay.
All right. Look at that segue. Look at that segue, Lapeef.
Now it's making sense to me.
Right.